Hello and welcome to the Wicked Things podcast. You're listening to the standalone story playlist. We don't only write stories that are horror genre. We love writing our brand of odd comedy stories. Odd comedy stories, yep, that is the best possible way to introduce this story called Cow Tripping Across the Universe. This was read by the host of Dobby Cryptids back in 2014 or so. After a format change, they deleted the footage. Sad, it was a hilarious thing to behold. Either way, this story is about two bored moonshiners trying to find something to occupy their night. After hours of drinking and the consumption of mushrooms, their night turns from dull to bizarre to moments of what the fuck? I only recommend this story for those not easily triggered or easily offended. Enjoy.
I must confess I have an experience I don't understand. It has brought shame into my life and makes me question who I am. So, let me tell you what happened. Well, it all started one night when I and Jethro got bored. We were back up in the hill near the still. We're testing to make sure that shine was coming out okay. Can't have anyone go blind, you know. So about 3 or 4 hours into the tasting, Jethro looks over at me. He said, "Damn, I drunk and bored. We need to do something." I was like, "Let's go throw a firecracker at possums. That's kind of fun." Jethro said, "No, last time I got bit, I had to go get rabies shots. My wife would not even sleep with me, afraid I would bite her in my sleep and give her rabies." Then I was like, "What about slipping over to the Smithers place and force the chickens to drink moonshine?" Again, Jethro shot down my idea. He said, "That Smithers boy is weird. He caught me pouring shine down the chicken's throat." "Why didn't he yell or scream?" I asked in confusion. "Well, you see," said Jethro, "I saw him letting the goat eat peanut butter from between his butt crack." "You a damn liar," I said to Jethro. "No, I'm serious," he exclaimed. "I even took a picture of it with my phone." Then what happened? I was eager to hear more, you know. Goat eating peanut butter out your butthole is new to me. "That's where it gets weird," Jethro said. He looked confused and upset, but continued on. As I sat there taking the pictures, he smiled and asked me to send him a copy to his phone, and if I didn't, he would tell his papa. I screamed, "You really a liar now," as I stood up shaking my finger at him. Next thing I know, Jethro was showing me the text message and the video. I was like, "I'll be damned," and raped by a pack of gorillas. The boy responded back, asking if we would like to join him next time. I look at Jethro with amazement and curiosity in my eyes, you know, because I never had peanut butter eaten out my butthole. Jethro said, "Oh, hell no. You go by yourself." So I told Jethro we would think of something else. Jethro agreed, and we drank a little more shine. Jethro screamed, "I got it! I got it!" I responded, "Don't dance around like you're doing the pee-pee dance. Tell me." Jethro grabbed me by my shoulders and screamed, "Let's go old school." You could see the excitement on his face. I was, "Okay, just tell me, damn it." Jethro said, "Let's go tip some cows like back in school. We can pick some mushrooms afterward." I looked at him square in the eyes And then I said, "Damn, boy, you are a genius." Then quickly ran and grabbed a bottle of shine. Then we took off. This is where things begin to get weird. We walked down the backside of the mountain to the Blankenship farm. They have a large field full of cattle surrounded by trees. So if someone comes, we can duck into the wood. So there we were, taking turns tipping cows, slipping in cow shit. But it did help us find mushrooms. Then all of a sudden, we start seeing lights in the woods. Jethro screamed, "Holy shit, we got to run." Every direction we went, we saw lights in the woods. We were surrounded. We were terrified. I was holding tight on to Jethro. "I have an idea," Jethro said. "Follow me and do what I do." Jethro ran over to a big pile of cow shit and then started covering his body the rest of the way in shit. "We will be camouflaged and they won't see us. All we have to do is lay on the ground." You could hear the urgency and excitement in Jethro's voice. So I did exactly like Jethro. I rolled around in shit till I was as dark as night. The final step was packing the cow shit on our face to look like a pile of fresh shit. We were smart, though. We made eye holes and made it where we could breathe through our mouths. The one thing you don't want is cow shit getting in your nose. It smells horrible. And since we had slipped in it before, we already had a little in our mouths. So as we laid there and the lights were moving around us, things got worse. The shrooms were starting to kick in. We were tripping as the light moved around us. Then all of a sudden, what we thought was a helicopter spotted us and shined the light right on us. We tried to get up and run, but we couldn't move. We couldn't scream. At first we thought it was a bad reaction from the shrooms. Then it went from really bright to dark. When I woke up, I was confused. I was laying on my stomach and my hands and feet were strapped down. There was a pillow or something underneath me pushing my hips up. I was terrified, looking around, but I could not scream. I looked over, and there was Jethro. He looked like one of those mounted fish on the wall. His mouth was wide open. I think it was that metal thing in his mouth. His butt was in the air with a slight curve to his body, and there was some type of big metal cigarette sticking out his butt. The end was glowing red. All I could think of is, that's a hell of a way to smoke a cigarette. Those shrooms were bad. Next thing I know, there was some little gray guy looking at me in my face. I thought he might be gay because he was close enough to kiss me. I felt his breath on my face as I stared directly into his large black eyes. And he started stroking my hair. At first it was a little uncomfortable, but then he started scratching my beard, especially under my chin. He was good. I almost melted in his hands. But then I got the proof I needed he was gay. He walked around behind me, running his abnormally large fingers down my side. It tickled, not really in a good way, you know. More like a I'm your camp counselor, don't tell anyone sort of way. Then all of a sudden his finger was no longer touching me. I was delighted and scared at the same time. Then all of a sudden I feel my hands and feet loosen up, just before that moment. You know, the moment when everything becomes a blur because your adrenaline kicks in? Well, all of a sudden I feel something shot in my butt and expand. And then I jumped up off the table. I swear, it must have looked like one of those videos where you see the fishermen trying to fight and pull the fish out of the water and nothing is happening. Then all of a sudden, it flies out the water, twisting and turning side to side because something just hooked the inside of the mouth. It felt like that, but from my butt. The next thing I know, I fall back on the table and the light goes out. I don't know if they did something to me, or if it was because I used all my strength to jump for freedom, but I was out after that. For months now, I and Jethro have kept this story to ourselves, embarrassed about what happens. I just needed to tell someone to get it off my chest. And I feel much better.
I could not stop laughing at this story. I love this style of oddball humor. One day, we will have to make this into a short movie. This is the Wicked Things podcast signing off. Goodbye.